Welcome back to Bravo Breaking News. I'm Lisa. I know we are a few days late, but we had to hop on here and recap the dramatic finale of Real Housewives of Orange County. I mean, it delivered in every single way.
Yeah, there were feuds happening any which way you looked. I think my favorite one of all was between Shannon and Katie's unassuming husband, Matt.
Oh my gosh, that made me laugh so hard, among other things. There was so much going down at that party, and we are going to get into it all. But before we do, make sure you guys are subscribed so you don't miss any more Bravo breaking news. And we have the OC reunions coming up, which are going to be so juicy. So make sure you tune in for that as well.
I know these ladies are really squeezing the juice out of these oranges, aren't they?
Oh, they are, for sure.
Okay, so we start off with what other than axe throwing? How many times do we have to see axe throwing on these shows? Like, is there nothing else to do? I know they have to find activities so they're not just going and getting coffee or drinks all the time, but I'm done with the axe throwing, guys.
But at least Shannon brought her own little spin to it. We've never seen Shannon Storms Bedore throw an axe, and that was quite entertaining.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so we have Emily, Gina, Shannon, and Jen. And Shannon's kind of explaining why she left the trip early. You know, she's setting healthy boundaries. So she's obviously, probably going to a lot of therapy because she's really trying to get those boundaries straight. And Jen shows up, and her little surprise announcement is that she got engaged to Ryan in the Bahamas with a ring that you could spot from the moon.
Oh my God, it was huge. And no shade, but there is no way that that's a real diamond, right?
I don't know. It's huge. It's got to be 10 plus carats.
Yeah, huge. I know. Okay, so for example, Sheena Shea, right? Her ring from Brock is this ginormous stone, and it's beautiful, but it is not a real diamond. Now, I think this might be, I don't know, maybe a trend in Bravo celebrities where they get a big ring, but it's not like a real diamond. I'm not talking like cubic zirconia or anything, but it's a nice stone that's not a diamond.
The lab-grown diamonds I know are less expensive. They're not cheap, but they're much less expensive than a real one. And if you want one that big, you're probably going to save a good chunk of money. I don't know. Or it could also be a diamond that is not that high quality. You know what I mean? The color, cut, clarity, whatever. Maybe those things aren't as good, so they were able to get a bigger one. I don't know.
Yeah, the point I'm trying to make is that ring is ginormous. And if it was real, it would be millions of dollars, I think. But either way, I'm happy for them. I was happy to see that flashback to them in the Bahamas. She was so thrilled. It kind of seems like they had the camera crew with them.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
It seemed like there was a camera crew there, but then we only got 3 seconds of footage.
Yeah, that was strange. We captured the moment, obviously, but nothing more from their trip. So yeah, that was interesting.
And we didn't hear what he said, when he actually proposed.
Right. It was just her kind of explaining what happened. So
yeah,
I don't know. But what do you think? Are you happy for them? She seemed genuinely happy. I don't know, but they're still pointing out red flags with Ryan, obviously. And we get into more of that through the episode.
Look, if she's happy, I'm happy. I think Jen is a genuinely nice person. And I think that Ryan wants to be a good husband for her. I just don't know that I trust that he is capable of doing that for decades to come. I don't know. I kind of have this once a cheater, always a cheater kind of thing. And, they're still in the honeymoon phase. They've only been together for 2 years, 3 years, maybe. I mean, once you're 10 years, 15 years in, like things are a little different. And I just don't know that I trust that he's going to, remain the man that he is today. But we shall see. And okay, so really, and Jen's talking about how Tamara's trying to turn her against Shannon now because, she's saying Shannon was a part of those text messages with the whole background check with the Ryan thing. And Jen's kind of like, look, I'll meet with Tamara. And I'm like, why? Why are you going to meet with Tamara? Why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah, I mean, and they keep making this point over and over in the episode, the fact that Shannon is somebody that will work on herself and will apologize when she means it. And, it's almost as if like Jen's like, I don't give a fuck if Shannon was involved in this background check.
Yeah.
I don't care if she initiated it. I don't really care if she was the one doing the checking. Like, at least I know that she is working to become a better person. When she apologizes, you can count on her actually, making an effort to, win back her trust and everything, while Tamara is just going to keep bashing you down and again and again. Yeah. And I think she hit the nail on the head with that one.
No, you're totally right. Okay, so most of the episode, kind of revolves around Jen's engagement party that for whatever reason Alexis is throwing for her.
Question marks.
The question marks everywhere. Just like, okay, is that just a reason for her to get involved, I guess? But anyway, before we go there, we do get a little more from Travis and Gina. And I'm glad that we got this scene because I feel like we kind of got the story in the beginning of the season where, Travis moved out and Gina kind of explained why, but she sort of couldn't go into that much detail. And to me, it seemed like when they first started filming, they had decided we're not going to talk about the ex, or we're not going to say that it's because of the ex. So they were just dancing around it. And it seemed really weird to everyone else because why would you have your boyfriend move out if you want to be with him forever? It just didn't make sense. But now I think for whatever reason, they're a little more willing to speak openly about who is causing these issues in their relationship. And they're saying, the ex is toxic and she's done some stuff that's like actually scary. And Gina just doesn't want that in her home. And like, I totally get that. She doesn't want it around her kids and she doesn't want to separate, but she knows that she can't be involved in that right now.
I get it. I feel like we haven't really talked about this storyline much because, to be honest, it hasn't been a big part of the show. It's been very like sprinkled in every few episodes. At the beginning of the season, Travis moved out and we hear a little bit about it, every couple weeks, but I don't know. Sorry, I feel for her, but this does not a storyline make. I feel like Travis moved out. And occasionally he comes over to help her out with things around the house. But like, I don't know. I feel like Gina has kind of found herself as more of like the go-between this season, which I don't mind. I've liked from her because I don't know. I hate to say it, kind of like Tamara. She's not really bringing much. She's bringing a lot more than Tamara personally. But to me, she's kind of been the go-between between Shannon and Alexis and Tamara, kind of standing up for what's right. And I like that position that she's been in. But as far as her and Travis, I don't know. They're still together now. I hope they work it out. It doesn't really seem like they can talk much about the ex, like you said. So I don't know. I wish them the best, but I don't really care about this storyline. Sorry.
I wish them the best, but I at the same time don't care.
Yeah.
Okay, Savage. So if you get invited to a Tacky bridesmaids party, are you like, I feel like no one understood the assignment. I think Heather did it best. I think Heather did it best, although what she was wearing was probably still Dolce & Gabbana or something like that. But no one else really understood it. Emily's wearing her old wedding dress and she's like, no, I get it. And I'm like, I don't think you do.
Can we talk about Alexis's look for her own party?
Yes. Alexis is the girl who everyone is deciding what to wear for the night. What's the vibe? We're going out, blah, blah, blah. What's everyone wearing? And she's the one that'll say, oh, just casual, like nothing special. And then she'll show up in a full, like, super sexy look, and everyone else is going to show up looking frumpy. And it's going to be like, you just set us up because you wanted to look the best.
1,000%.
That is what this is giving.
Giving that 1,000%. Oh, what do you mean? It's polyester. That is so tacky. Like, okay, Alexis, like, once again, missed the mark like she always does.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. But at the same time, Emily was like, you think if anyone could do tacky, like, it would be Alexis. And I love that shade.
Oh, 100%. I would have thought so too, because she's just a tacky person in general. So I don't know. It was interesting to see everybody arrive. We had that funny moment in the car. I feel like Shannon's done this before where she lays flat in the seat so she doesn't get wrinkles.
That's her new move. And then she's like, oh, I have a pain in my neck now.
And then we get Queen Victoria looking more fabulous than ever before. I thought Vicky looked absolutely amazing. Whoever did her glam was like spot on that night.
Yeah, she looked great. And I'm upset that we didn't get more dialogue from her.
Agreed.
Like, anytime Vicky's around, I need her to be more involved. And, we did see her and Shannon kind of off in a corner because they didn't want to talk to Tamara. But I just need a little more. They like teased me and then they didn't give me much.
I always need more of the OG. What did you think about Katie and Heather? Like the snubbing of the highs? Who was really responsible for that? Because I have thoughts.
Okay, so I feel like they're just oil and water. Like, they got off on the wrong foot and they are never going to get back on the right foot. Not too dissimilar from Shannon and Heather back in the day, or Shannon and Megan King Edmonds. Let's remember I start charities.
I start charities, Megan.
So sometimes you have someone new come into the group and they just clash with an OG. And I don't know where they're going to go from here.
No, I don't either. But in my opinion, Heather was 1,000% responsible for that snub, because Heather was all, like uppity, being like, well, Katie didn't say hi to me. Well, when we did the flashback, we see you literally walking right by her. It's like she didn't even have a chance because you just breezed right by her. So I feel like, once again, Heather's going to place the blame on somebody else.
Yeah.
For something that she's responsible for.
I feel like it was a mutual snub, but yes, Heather definitely loves to cry victim here.
Okay, so then we get Jen and Ryan arriving, and I do have to say, I think Jen understood the assignment. I loved her look.
Yeah.
I thought she looked great. What do you think?
No, I thought it was perfect for the party. It was perfect for her. Like, she is kind of a Barbie. And I think she nailed it. Ryan's Amazon suit, I mean, I don't know. It seemed like they were going more like 80s prom tacky instead of like bridesmaid tacky. But yeah, obviously it was tailored to perfection, much like his underwear.
Oh, yeah. So, everybody starts mingling. Joe De La Rosa, obvious OG, was there. Turns out she used to work for Ryan, which is really, really crazy. But she was also at the Bravo TV Experience pop-up that I went to. I think she hangs out with Jen and Ryan a lot now. She's kind of getting back into the group. So that's something that's could be interesting.
Do you think that this is kind of her making a play, or the producers kind of testing the waters to see if Joe's ready for a comeback?
Well, she lives in LA now, I think. So I don't think she's technically OC. But hey, I mean, Heather doesn't live in OC. So I don't think that'll stop her.
They can use the carpool lane and they'll get there quicker.
True. So we get some tidbits here and there. One of which that was interesting was Tamara saying on the finale of the season, I think I'm going to quit drinking. After everything that she's done all season long, I guess she's finally coming to terms with the fact that, yes, even though she's been spewing hate towards Shannon all season long and accusing her of having a drinking problem, maybe Tamara has a little bit of a problem too, because they flash back and she's every party drinking and saying shit and having to apologize for it. So at least she's taking a little bit of accountability there. Will it stick? I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. And it's almost a little too, like, it's like too little too late at this point. Like, the damage has been done. She has, she's dropped that bomb. She's dropped several bombs. And now she's just like, oh, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. Well,
exactly. Okay. Classic Tamara.
Yeah, that's her MO, and it always has been. So, and then again, okay, so then we see Tamara approach Jen. First of all, I can't even believe that Jen invited Tamara, because Tamara's been trying to take them down from day one. But, I think Jen just really wants to believe in the best of people. And so Tamara goes up to Jen, they're like, I really don't want to rehash things. And Tamara, instead of taking accountability, immediately says, I wanted to talk to you because I want to prove to you that Shannon was involved in this. I have the texts. I want to show them to you. And Jen's like, that's not the point. Like, stop deflecting. Just own up to your part and apologize for it and, move on, but like actually move on. She's just so stuck in trying to take everyone else down with her that like she can't get her head out of her ass.
Oh, that was really tough to watch. And I feel like Jen kind of having this like I don't care anymore attitude is the perfect kind of way they need to deal with Tamara at this point, because I feel like she's one of those type of people where like the more you fuel her, the more she'll just kind of unleash her fury. And you kind of need to like step back and be like, look, I don't really care what you're saying. And kind of like let her. Meanwhile, Tamara all of a sudden is holier than thou and being like, oh, I'm not going to raise my voice. I'm not going to say shit at this party. Like you said, too little, too late. I feel like people are starting to realize that they are not going to feed into her insanity and just kind of like, I don't know, let her
self-destruct.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of self-destructing, now, so after we have the snub, we did have Heather and Katie kind of go at each other. Yeah. And I don't know, the internet seems to be pretty much on Katie's side here, because once again, Heather accuses her of lying about the whole paparazzi thing. She says, you're boring and you lie, which I don't know. The boring part maybe is a little true. The lie, I don't know. But then I feel like Katie knocked it out of the park by saying that you swore on your kid's life about something. You're a liar. And I don't know. I kind of have to agree with that, because if we remember back to the beginning of the season, Heather did swear on her kid's life that the paparazzi didn't take those photos. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, she's going to take that to the grave at this point. So we're never going to know the truth if Heather called the paparazzi or not, and she's never going to admit it. But this whole thing with Emily's sons and, saying Heather is mean, like, I don't really care where it came from. It's just dumb that Heather is using this as more fodder to, go up against Katie. And I'm like, Heather, you don't have to go after every little thing. Like, it is possible to exist and just let some things roll off your back, like, just let it go.
I agree. But one thing that was interesting, though, was the flashback to Katie's dinner table and her little son, like, basically talking about Heather, bringing up Heather at the dinner table. Like, I forget what he said exactly. He's like,
was Heather being a jerk again?
Yeah. Like, okay, that's definitely going to be discussed at the reunion. But at the same time, I agree with you. Number one, let's leave the kids out of this. And number two, you were mean to their moms. And if the kids heard the mom talking about how you were mean to them, it's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah,
there have been a lot worse accusations. There are a lot of bigger things going on this show. So I would just let this one slide off your Mac.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so what else is going on? We're doing a group picture, right? And everyone's like, Shannon, come in. Shannon, come in. We got Alexis on one side. We know it's awkward, so Shannon goes and stands on the other side. And then I don't even know how it happened. I couldn't tell you like what set someone off, but Shannon starts saying, I left London because you were, going after me for 4 days straight, and I'm leaving because I'm setting healthy boundaries for myself. And when I'm done, I mean it now. I am done. And, storms out, and Tamara's like, what did I do? What did I do? I'm so innocent. Not my fault. And Shannon somehow finds herself in a hallway or whatever. And for some reason, the only person there for her to speak to is Matt, Katie's husband. He's just literally standing there by himself. I don't know what he's doing, but Shannon kind of says, like, oh, it's rough for me. And he's like, all right, well, then maybe you should leave.
Well, and I think he was like, well, maybe you should just walk away, or, something.
Yeah.
Like, I thought he was kind of like supporting her, like sometimes you just got to walk away type of thing, like giving her words of wisdom almost.
Yeah, she did not take it the right way at all. He even said, he's like, I'm saying this because you've been nice to me. You've been nice to my wife. And she's just like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? And I'm like, first of all, like, lesson for the husbands on the show, like, just don't. Okay. If a housewife comes up to you and she's distraught, don't try and fix it. There are so many layers that you don't know about, that you don't understand. There are so many treasures.
Yeah, especially as a season 1 husband who really knows nothing. But let's be real, he was quite literally backed into a corner. Like, the cameras followed Shannon. There he was. I don't think he had a choice but to engage.
Yeah. But I think the safer route would have just been to say, you look upset. Can I get you anything? Do you want me to go grab Katie? And like, that's it. Just back away slowly, because these women, like, they're loose cannons.
Oh my gosh. And then just when we think we've had enough, John Jansen's here. Oh my God. So we see like an SUV pull up. John Jansen gets out. I thought he was going to be walking into this party and shit was going to hit the fan. And as much as I love drama, I didn't need that whatsoever. I did love Gina and Emily like climbing
so good.
Climbing the wall, like with just their butts out, their tights, for everyone to see.
It's John Jansen.
It's John Jansen. And they're like, he's getting out of the car. I guess he was just here to pick up Alexis, which, oh my gosh. Like, okay, Alexis, we didn't really talk about why Alexis was throwing the party and why John Jansen shows up to simply get out of the car, be on camera for 2 seconds, and then get back in. It was odd. Can we talk about why Alexis was throwing the party and why John Jansen had to come pick her up? I mean, it had to be to just kind of bring everything full circle so they could put that confessional of them two to wrap up the season, right? It was like, had to be pre-planned.
At the same time, Alexis was not a full-time cast member. So why is she throwing the finale party? That seems strange to me. I know it was themed around Jen, but it just was odd. And I don't know. We've seen them in that confessional before. If they really wanted to insert it, they could have. And John is just, there's no other reason for him to be there other than that he wants his, 15 seconds of camera time. That's it.
Oh, 1000%. So luckily they leave. I feel like
can I say one more thing? I loved Shannon's line when she said, "She took my problem. She didn't take my man."
Oh, 1,000 nailed it.
So good.
Nailed it.
So
because
good.
we all know that this is going to completely blow up in Alexis's face. Justice will be served. Karma will happen to her. And we all know it's just a matter of time. So I don't know. They leave. Tamara and Eddie also leave because Tamara is too good for the drama. She's not drinking. She's not going to raise her voice. They leave. We start to get the end cards for the season. And the ones that stood out to me were that the lawsuit between John and Shannon is still unsettled. They have not reached an agreement, which is absolutely insane. We're going on a year now of this lawsuit. And John Jansen's whole goal is he just doesn't want people to believe all of the lies. Once again, what are the fucking lies? Please tell me. Name them. Name them.
Name them. You're absolutely right. Name them.
What are
Sorry, if you can see my dogs in the background, like little legs. Yeah, no, it's unbelievable. And I know we're going to hear about it at the reunion, but I just want this to be over for Shannon because she does say in the trailer for the reunion, "And I won." So maybe by the time the reunion films, I don't know. But I think over for her.
No, I think it's still ongoing now.
Ugh.
Maybe she won in life. Maybe she won being single. Maybe she won. I don't know. She won her independence. Shannon is winning in every which way besides this lawsuit.
Yeah.
But speaking of lawsuits, we think the episode's over, but we get the iconic black screen, white text 3 weeks later. And we know what's coming. We see the headlines. Ryan has been accused of laundering money from the Dodgers baseball player to himself. I don't know. I guess there's like some sort of $16 million that was supposedly found in his account. We see the sit down between Jen and Ryan, and Jen is shook. You can tell. I think this has to be maybe a day after this happened. She kind of seems like she's unsure about, how she's going to handle it moving forward. Ryan is kind of saying some weird stuff, saying that this is all part of the Lord's plan.
Right.
He's denying that he's part of all of this. What was your vibe like seeing this sit down and how they were handling this?
I think Jen probably wanted more reassurance other than that's life.
It's all up to God.
It's in God's hands now. But it's tough. I mean, I think she was smart not to rush into getting married. Like, at least they didn't elope right away. But yeah, she goes over to Katie's house and Gina's there. And Gina basically says, "You're in an unhealthy relationship." And Jen's like, "But what part is unhealthy?" And she says, "Just everything going on. You are putting yourself in the line of fire." And that, I think, is accurate. But I think it's hard for Jen because I think she does have a lot of love for Ryan. And 2, she kind of admits like she messed everything up. And while we don't know exactly what she's referring to, we can only assume that she's talking about the fact that she kind of left her husband, I guess, or blew up her life and started dating Ryan and has put her kids through a lot and is herself going through a lot. And now she's like, did I do it all for nothing? Did I mess this up for a man that I can't even trust?
And the craziest part, one of the craziest parts was that this bookie guy was at the finale party. And we saw him there. They did a pan. I think he also made some sort of comment about money laundering, which I didn't catch, but I think Andy brought up on Watch What Happens Live.
I thought Ryan made a joke to him saying introducing, he's like, "Oh, this is Matt. Like, oh, he's my money launderer." And it's like, if I were Matt, I'd be pissed that he said that, especially on camera.
Oh, 100%. We also see is it Emily, Alexis, Heather, and Tamara? Tamara's, look that we saw in the trailer with the FBI hat. She's ready. She's gloating. She could not be more proud to be right in this moment. Right. She feels so vindicated, even though cut to Ryan was never accused of anything, even though that was what the headlines were saying, that he was accused of money laundering. He was also never found guilty of anything. And like we've said before, also received immunity. Now, I don't know quite what that means. Yeah, that's the part. I've seen a lot of fodder online about, we discussed, did he receive immunity in exchange for offering information, or, that doesn't necessarily mean he wasn't involved. However, I did see somebody say that does mean he's innocent. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Look, I'm not involved in the justice system, but from what I, do know, immunity is usually granted sort of in exchange for something. So, it said he was never charged with anything or found guilty, but he got immunity. So in my head, I'm like, okay, well then he obviously gave them something. That's
what I think too. I think that we'll hear more about it at the reunion. I feel like the case is closed, and it did close like after they, ended filming. So I hope that we get a little bit more information. I guess he was also on Watch What Happens Live that night. Mm-hmm. Did you catch that episode? And, Andy did give him the floor to speak. And he pretty much said, he's innocent and they're happily moving on.
Yeah.
So I don't know if more info will come out about exactly what happened or how he received immunity. I don't know. I kind of didn't know.
I don't know what the scenario is where like you're cutting a deal for immunity if you're not involved in some way. Like, I just don't know that makes sense. But again, I could very well be wrong. No expert on the matter, not a legal expert.
If you are a legal expert, please weigh in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And that was the finale. I'm ready for the reunion. I'm seated, as the kids say. I am ready for Emily to call Alexis the lid of a trash can, and the dumbest person she's ever met. It kind of seems like Emily is gonna bring her A game to this reunion. I think she is fired up and she is ready to defend Shannon, and I love that. I'm interested to see what else the ladies bring. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I hope they bring more substance than they did with the looks, because the looks are leaving me wanting more. I will say that.
Oh yeah. Who's your best dressed reunion look, OC?
Oh, I don't even know. I mean, they're all fine. No one looks bad. I think they're just kind of blah.
While she isn't my favorite housewife, I think Katie might have had my top reunion look. Mm-hmm. It was kind of giving Ariana's this past season reunion look, kind of the sheer navy dress with, you could kind of see like, the bra and underwear, like sheer underneath. Hers was kind of like a burgundy color.
Yeah, Katie always looks great. I think Jen's like copper kind of dress looks really nice. No one looks bad. You compare that to like Dubai, who is just over the top. Maybe I don't need that much, but it's like, can we find like a happy medium?
Yeah, I was hoping for a little more from Shannon than like a, empire waist, like poofy mini, long sleeve mini. But hey, Shannon's going to Shannon.
Long sleeve shift dress is like Shannon Bedore's uniform.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think we are in for a hell of a reunion. And we will be back, I guess it's now this week. We'll be back later this week to cover it all. So guys, stay well, keep watching Bravo. We will get through this week together. And make sure you guys are subscribed so you don't miss any more Bravo breaking news.
Thanks for listening, everyone.